Hey, 369ers, it's burger time. So, as promised, we were going to talk about hamburgers today. One of my favorite foods is hamburgers, and it doesn't need to be a vacation meal all the time. So, we're going to talk about hamburger buns because everybody loves bread so much. So, this is going to be a 30, 60, 90 on hamburger buns. We'll talk about meat, talk about condiments here a little bit as well, and show you how you can make a great burger at home. And this goes for any sandwich when it comes to what kind of bread that you want to use. So, the zero version of this would be Sara Lee hamburger bun, Wonder Bread hamburger bun, King Soopers hamburger bun, regular enriched white flour. Remember, we've talked about why that's just not good for you. There's nothing good about it. It's an anti-nutrient. So regular junky bread robs nutrients out of your body, provides no good nutrients, spikes your insulin like crazy, and has enriched wheat flour, which is like the worst offending version of like gluten, right? So if you have a problem with gluten, which most people do, even if you're not, if you don't have celiac disease, most people don't tolerate gluten very well anyway. So what are some better choices for you? I'm gonna give you a couple of really good ones. So that's the 0%. This would be the 30% version here, okay? So this is Oro wheat, which is not necessarily any better brand-wise, but what I like about them is these are sandwich thins, okay? So if you're in a pinch and this is like, you want to do something better than just the regular hamburger buns, like if you're having a party or something, these thins are going to be better because if you see on here, they're really, it's not open, but you can see like that's the bun right there, that little guy. So it's just slit down the middle. So it's like a little bit of bread on the outside, a little bit of bread on the outside, and the burger in the middle. So the reason that's going to be better is it's still enriched wheat flour. It's still like not a really good nutrient, but it has less calories and has less carbohydrates. So on the back, the carbohydrates for each one of these is 22 grams of carbohydrates. And remember, the reason carbohydrates can be a problem is because carbohydrates are sugar, okay? And we want to eat less sugar in our diet. So the less carbohydrates generally better for weight loss, for inflammation, for brain function. There's been a lot of research lately on how Alzheimer's is linked to sugar and carbohydrates. So the lower carbohydrate usually better. You know, that's just a good rule of thumb. It provides much less inflammation and other things. So we got 22 grams of carbohydrates in here. Like a normal hamburger bun would probably be 35 or 40 grams of carbohydrates. So there's less, just because there's less bread. So that would be a good 30% option if you want to do something a little bit better. Whoa, I think I turned the light off. There we go. I was about to say, God was talking to me. Okay, so a 60% better version would be, you guessed it, the Ezekiel, okay? So this is Ezekiel bread, okay? So Ezekiel 4-9 bread, and these are hamburger buns specifically. Now, the reason this is going to be better is because this is sprouted grain, okay? Sprouted grain still has gluten, okay? But it has, because it's sprouted, it doesn't have as much what's called phytic acid, which causes gluten to react in your gut a lot more. So you can tolerate this bread. This bread is generally just going to be better received by your body. It doesn't cause your insulin level to go up as much. It doesn't cause as much inflammation. So sprouted bread is going to be much better for you than just regular whole wheat bread from whole wheat flour. So in here, on the back of this, if you look at this, so we were talking about 0 grams of sugar, which is great. It's made from all sprouted grains. There's 34 grams of carbohydrates in here, okay? So 34 grams versus 22 grams here. So how are you going to weigh those out? I personally would choose the one that's a little bit higher in carbohydrates, but it's sprouted because your body handles that better. Sprouted bread is just going to be better for you, okay? So instead of doing the one that has a little bit less carbohydrates, I would do the one that has sprouted grain. Okay, so that would be the 60% better option. And then you can always do like just half of the bread if you want a little bit less carbohydrates. But Ezekiel bread, and you keep this in the freezer, toast it when you're ready to go, and you're good to go. And these are great. We use these quite a bit in our office or in our house when we make hamburgers. So if you want a really good version, if you still want to have a burger, but you want a really good version, these are super cool. This is a new brand called No Better Breads. They also make waffles. Like my kids and I, we've been having waffles in the morning, which have been great. And they are 100% non-GMO, grain-free, wheat-free, gluten-free, dairy-free. Like everything that you don't want. So you want to talk about paleo, like really staying away from anything that has dairy or bread in it, because most people react to those, then this is going to be a great option for you. And these are hamburger buns, okay? You can see in here, there's a little hamburger bun in there. Now, what's in there, and this is what's cool about this, is it's made with water, almond flour, dried egg whites, prebiotic flour or fiber to give it some more fiber, flax seeds, organic coconut flour, and chia seeds. So these are 100% gluten-free, dairy-free, GMO-free. These are fantastic. Now, which one tastes better? That probably tastes a little bit better, the Ezekiel. But if I want to go like really 90%, then I'm going to go with this one. Okay? You can get these at Whole Foods, I believe is where you pick these up. Like you can also order them online, but we got these at Whole Foods and they're fantastic. So it's called No Better. So those are your bread options. Now, if you really want to get even better, if you want to have all the great things of a hamburger without any of the bread, just do it with no bun. So what we do is we'll take like lettuce cups, like romaine lettuce. So we'll put lettuce on the bottom, do the burger, and then whatever condiments you want, and then lettuce on top, and do it almost like a lettuce wrap. And you're still getting all the same flavor without any of the bread, which is awesome. So we do that pretty regularly. As far as what we put on there, somebody asked me about what to do instead of like Miracle Whip or mayonnaise. So we use Vegenaise instead. Okay, Vegenaise. This isn't like making your own would be probably the best version, but this is the next best version. It's made with grapeseed oil, but it also has olive oil in there as well. So it's not the absolute best thing in the world. We don't use a lot of it, but it's going to be better than partially hydrogenated oil. So if we go back to oils again, would you rather use partially hydrogenated oil, which is like the worst thing on planet Earth, partially hydrogenated soybean oil, or grapeseed oil? Well, grapeseed oil it's not one of the best, right? So it's not olive oil. It's not avocado oil. It's not coconut oil, which would be better, but they don't make a Vegenaise made with coconut oil. If they did, I would use it. So they make it with grapeseed oil, so I'd say this is like a 30 or 60% version right here, okay? Ketchup, I just grabbed what's in our fridge in there. Simply organic ketchup. The good news is that it's organic. It doesn't use high fructose corn syrup, so it uses sugar rather than high fructose corn syrup. So that's going to be better for you than just the regular sugar or the regular tomato ketchup. As far as meat, we always try to go grass-fed meat as much as possible. So when you're doing ground beef, there's nothing wrong with ground beef except that it's not what you eat, it's what the animal ate. And animals were designed to eat grass. And when they eat grass, they have a fatty acid profile that's not very inflammatory, which means it doesn't cause inflammation inside of your body. So you want your meat to be grass-fed as much as possible. So we'll go to Whole Foods and get a lot of grass-fed meat, make hamburger patties, put them in the freezer, and then you're good to go whenever you want to eat that. You can also, if they don't have like grass-fed meat, if you go to King Soopers or Safeway or something and they're out of it, then you can always get you can get turkey or chicken, ground turkey or chicken, because turkeys and chickens are obviously they're not fed feedlot diets for the most part. So we'll buy like Applegate Farms or Jennie-O or one of those. So those are going to be fine as well. But grass-fed meat as much as you possibly can. You can also get grass-fed buffalo, which is fantastic. You can get that at any grocery store now. They're usually in frozen blocks of a pound. And the cool thing about buffalo or bison is those are almost always grass-fed, right? So if you're going with meat, you want to try to go grass-fed as much as possible. But if you're just serving a bunch of people, buy your hamburger. So what most people do is they'd buy, a few pounds of hamburger, make burgers out of it, and then use, the worst version of the bread that you can get, like Sara Lee or something. So if you wanted to just upgrade just the bread alone, you can go with the sandwich thins. You can go with the Ezekiel bread, or even better, you can go with the No Better bread. I probably wouldn't do this for up like 20 people because it'd probably be a little bit pricey. But I would probably go with like the Ezekiel buns or the sandwich thins instead. So any questions on any of this, post it below the video and I'll make sure I answer that. But I wanted to do another video on bread because I have so many people asking questions about what do you do? Like, we're such a bread-centered society. What do we do if we don't want to do just kind of regular junky bread? Hopefully that'll give you some good examples of what you need to do moving forward. Talk to you soon.